Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Cryptocurrency News. In this episode I'll cover the period of time from the 14th of June till today, which is the 20th of June. Please give me a thumbs up and have a look at the links in the description below, which will give you some fee discounts. So since last week nothing really happened in terms of the price. The price has been pretty much stable. There was 1 week down, not too many weeks up really, and this rather stable price action. In terms of the futures markets and the premiums on that account, the annualized basis is rather poor. It's around 3% more or less on Bitcoin and on Ethereum, so it looks like nobody is really long the derivatives. On BitMEX the annualized premium is actually the lowest, and it's quite a difference between BitMEX and other exchanges. So if you are planning to go long some futures, BitMEX is the place to go. In terms of options markets, the open interest is absolutely staggering. It's really high until Friday next week when a lot of options expire. So if there is a big move before Friday, there will be a lot of rebalancing. Whoever sold these options will have to rebalance a lot. And actually a large part of the open interest on options is on CME markets, so it's more institutional. In terms of the implied volatility on Bitcoin, it's pretty much flat. I thought that it has floored, and it looks like it stays there. The short-term implied volatility has dropped even further, while the long-term implied volatility is pretty much stable. It's only slightly higher on Ethereum, so I view that as an opportunity. If you're looking to buy some volatility, I would think Ethereum is now the place to go rather than Bitcoin. Now going to the news, the hot topic has been correlation with S&P 500. So you could follow the futures on S&P 500, which traded even after hours, while S&P 500 only trades in hours, and it's hard to correlate something over the weekend to a market which doesn't really trade over the weekends. But it looks like a lot of traders were buying when S&P was going up and then selling when it was going down, and it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. A great post by Suzu Yu, thinking about shorting some stocks. Fed, thinking about how to legally buy all stocks like Bank of Japan did. Bank of Japan owns nearly 80% of all the ETF assets in the country. There is a rather wide agreement that implied volatility on crypto markets is low, so a lot of accounts are actually talking about this as an opportunity. This is a good post by Hedgehog. I often get asked why I don't scalp or trade low time frames. Across any asset on any exchange, there is someone who pays lower fees and or has faster execution than you. Trading higher time frames negates their inherent advantages. These are actually really wise words. Cash and carry arbitrage has been absolutely absent for a quarter of a year. So all these arbitrageurs are just waiting. S&P 500 just keeps going up. Will it break all-time highs? That's a very good question. BitMEX discounts reaching $15 these days. There are quite significant discounts on BitMEX swap. It looks like people are not very interested in going long BitMEX swap. There was some Chad movement. Someone bought 10 million contracts in one buy. These things were way more common in the old days, around 2018, 2017. Bcash perpetual swap is now live on BitMEX. Options markets are 60% of the futures volumes in traditional finance. In crypto, they're only 1%. So they will get more mature. John Brown has posted this comparison of open interest to volume, and it just shows how many exchanges have way more volume than they should really have based on their open interest. It's easy to fake the volume. It's really hard to fake open interest, especially on days like 12th of March when a lot of badness can happen. For example, Bitsy had surprisingly large open interest on Ethereum, at least in my opinion. When things went south on March 12th, they had Ethereum wick down to $10, and then they deleted the chart afterwards. So you can draw your own conclusions. Someone has bought a lot of contracts for 10 times the mark price on Deribit. They were buying some very wingy options, $16,000 calls. So this was a mistraded transaction, and Deribit actually has some rules. So if it happens to you, you can contact the support and they can adjust the price retrospectively for you. But it needs to be within 2 hours. Now, there is a resolution of the mysterious $5 million Ethereum transaction fee. So hackers hacked a Ponzi scheme. They got partial access to the exchange key. They couldn't withdraw, but they could send no effect transactions with any gas price. So they were threatening to burn all the funds via transaction fees unless they get compensated, but miners are actually happy to return these funds to the rightful Ponzi owner. So you cannot make this stuff up. If you are making on-chain transactions, you are probably significantly overpaying the fees. You can go to this website, Joho's Bitcoin mempool size, and this website will help you figure out what is the right fee. I'll probably record a video about this actually. Deribit is painting a moon narrative in their long thread. They had a long thread about the massive open interest and how the sellers will have to rebalance their exposure when there is a big move. The open interest is absolutely staggering. It's way above $1 billion worth of options. Crypto arbitrage is just highlighting how low the premiums are across the board. So it looks like people are just simply refusing to go long crypto. There were these massive premiums around February. People were very enthusiastic about the halving, and the premiums were really massive. And then the dump happened, and people just no longer want to be long crypto. I'm just posting here about the very low implied volatility. The implied volatility is like really low. You can take advantage of that just to take that directional trades or to create some non-directional strategies. For example, buy a call and buy a put, and then wherever the price goes, there's a good chance you'll make a profit. And that's pretty much it. So nothing really happened over the past week. I'll come back the following week. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe, comment. I do respond to the comments, and have a look at the links in the description below.